Welcome back to the Expressions of Destiny podcast. This is Jennifer. Today is Teachable Tuesday, and can you believe that we are already at the end of 2022? And so I wanted to take this time. I literally have 4 episodes left in this year before we head into a brand new year, 2023. So many great things to expect, so many changes, so many things that have progressed since we've gone through these past 2 years of slumps and people not being as active, businesses not being as open. Everybody is in a rebuilding stage. And so I wanted to bring just a topic that would offer you resources and references to different things that are going to help you get focused and find solutions that will possibly help your business grow or be restructured or find new ideas, anything that is going to help your businesses progress and be successful. So I want to spend today's episode just sharing with you a lot of the resources that we have come across, things that I know that other people have used and have really helped them switch up ideas, in a time where their businesses became really stagnant, or even people that I know who are at the very ground level of building their business. Maybe it was just an idea, a dream, a vision, or they were already starting to work on it and implement different things. They were starting to build that business plan. So many different stages of business, but they all received some type of help and experienced some type of growth through these resources, which means that the resources help businesses across the board. It doesn't matter what level you are at. And so I think we get caught up in thinking that we have to be at a certain point in order to receive some type of knowledge or wisdom or assistance from different people. That is not the case. You can be at the very beginning of this, or you can be in business for 20, 30, 40 years and still experience some type of growth from these resources. So one of the most wonderful, and I'm going to backtrack and say probably the most favorite part of my job is being able to teach and train and help people just think outside the box. We, for years, and when I say we, I speak of my husband, myself, our family, just our family business, we have always called ourselves creative consultants, meaning that no matter what task we took on, no matter what company we were helping, whether it was school, education, small business, family members in business, churches, ministry, didn't matter what it was. We were going to think creatively in everything that we do. Nothing inside of a box, not trapped in the same scenario, the same points, the same outlines, the same steps, 10 to 12 steps in order to do this. We were going to think outside of that and create something new that was specific to that individual and to whatever project, ministry, business they were building. So I love that part of my job, just being able to sit down and talk to people, being able to help them think a little further than where they stopped, always thinking in the mindset of what someone else has done and how they became successful. We were created to stand out. You have a vision and a dream and a goal for a reason. Those visions and those dreams are yours. They are not a carbon copy of somebody else's vision and dream. You may have the same idea, but it's not the same as somebody else. And so we don't follow the pattern that someone else has done because it may not work for us. So you have to find what it is that works for you. And that's what makes you unique and special in your dream and your goal and your vision. So let's jump right into this because I can talk all day about why I love my job. But I wanted to just kind of throw some resources out there and actually some things that we don't remember to do annually so that we can stop for a moment before this new year begins and really set some new goals. And so the first thing that I wanted to bring up is something that most people think, once you've done it, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. But at the beginning of building our business, we normally are told to do a SWOT analysis. Now, if you're not familiar with that, it is a strategic planning or management technique that kind of helps you to identify, your organization, the different things that you may need to do to be successful or to see that your business is successful. And it's basically just recognizing and identifying your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. Now, when we talk about strengths and weaknesses, those two are internal. They are considered the internal parts of your business. It is something that you have control over to identify what your strengths are, what the strengths are of you individually, of your team, of your business, the way that everything operates, and then what are your weaknesses? Those are the things that that can be tweaked or maybe changed. You might need to try something different, try it a different way. Maybe there's more training that is needed. Those are all things that you can control. You can engage in different things throughout the year to try to build upon those strengths and take those weaknesses and turn them around. Now, when we get to the other two, the O and the T, which is your opportunities and your threats, those are considered external. Those are things on the outside of your business that can affect the way that your business runs, that can affect the growth, can affect, whether your customers or clients are going to be able to identify what it is that you do and want to become your customer. Are there other businesses out there? These threats are considered other businesses out there that may be doing the same thing that you're doing or offering the same product. How are they a threat to you? How can you be different? How can you be unique? And then what are your opportunities? What are the things that set you apart, that make you different from these other businesses or organizations? Why are you special? And so being able to identify the external things, you may not have full control over that because you can't help, for instance, if you are a pizza parlor or a hot dog stand and you can't help that there's another pizza parlor or hot dog stand that is set up maybe one block down the street from you. Now, what can you do though? You can't move or make them move. I mean, that's time consuming. That's, a lot of cost goes into that. We don't want to have to change up our position and where we're at, but you can take those opportunities and threats and use them to figure out what it is that is and how you are going to make what you do unique and special, regardless of the threat or a better way to say the competition that is down the road from you. And so being able to identify, the internal things that you have control over and the external things that you do not have full control over, it really is going to help you figure out how your business is going to be able to grow and be successful this coming year. And so it is a very wise thing to sit down and go over those again, because if you've done it in the past, look at it and see what things are similar from the time before when you did a SWOT analysis and now. The world is completely changed. Things are different. We have gone through an entire 2 years of the way that businesses are run being shifted and transformed. Some things were negative and there were a lot of things that were positive. And now we're kind of getting back to the way that things were before, but not completely. And so there are going to be some things that are a lot different. For instance, if you have always been a brick and mortar business or company, and through these past 2 years, there has been so much of a boom in e-commerce, people working from home, people getting new ideas, people providing the same product as you, but they can sit at home, click on something, and have it ordered, packaged, and shipped without even leaving the comfort of their home. And you have a brick and mortar business that doors have remained open, but the customers aren't coming in. They're just not there. Then what have you done to transition or change? Maybe you didn't have an e-commerce option for your store where customers could order online, and you had all of your inventory uploaded so that it was made accessible. I don't know about you, but I don't want to have to go find a new store, but I wish the stores that didn't provide this service before maybe started offering it so that all of the favorites that I had could still be delivered to me in a time where we weren't able to go out and do things as normal. So we can go on and on about this topic, but you can see how this is so important to your business, and just really taking a moment to identify the changes that have happened and what you can do, whether small or big. What can you do this year to really narrow down where the focus needs to be and how you can be even greater than what you already are? So that was my first point, the SWOT analysis. Go back and look into that more if you have not done one before. I want to also move into some of the business resources that are out there. A lot of people, and I've mentioned these resources several times in past episodes, but a lot of people still don't realize the amount of help and aid and financial assistance and free workshops and mentorships, and I could go on and on about everything that is out there. But to this day, when I ask people if they have heard of these organizations and companies, they have no idea what I'm talking about. And so if you have, great, but maybe you still haven't really dug into researching all that they do. There is a lot out there that we are not tapping into for our own businesses that is just offered at no charge. And so let's go ahead and dive into this. The first one that I want to bring your attention to, obviously, is the SBA. I say obviously because this is one that most people are aware of, or at least have heard of it, but it is the U.S. Small Business Administration. Now, this one is more on a larger scale. You're going to, when you go to the website, it is sba.gov, and I'll make sure to put all of these links in the description of this episode so that you can come back to it. But the sba.gov, Small Business Administration, on their homepage, they're going to have a lot of resources like your business guide. They're going to list all of the funding programs that are out there. Now, grants have become very scarce, and you can find them. You can find them in little individual programs and things but it is a huge competition sometimes. You're up against so many other businesses that are really wanting to take advantage of this as well. But there are a lot of funding programs that are on a loan basis. I personally do not go this direction at the beginning. I would rather start something and find out what is out there available to me at no charge, things that I can do on my own so that I'm not creating debt while I'm trying to build a business. There are other people that will disagree. They want to start with that capital. They want to start with, a large amount. Maybe they need to buy their product or stock up on their inventory, and that's fine. But I would rather set a budget for marketing or for other tools that I need, like building my website, engaging in, different organizations and memberships that might be able to help me to market myself in person. And we're going to get into some of those, some of the networking opportunities that are out there. But personally, I would rather do that. I don't take advantage of the funding programs that are on a loan basis because I don't want to have to pay somebody back while I'm trying to focus on building this business. It's just added stress, in my opinion, but it's there. So if it's something that'll work for you, go for it. But once again, there are still grants out there. Those do not have to be paid back, but they are hard to find. You have to do a little digging and a little research. And locally too, wherever it is that you are at within the country, or even this world, if you're listening from another country, there are grant opportunities that may be local to your area. For instance, businesses, education programs, things like that, where they're just looking for an opportunity to give back to their community based off of what it is that you provide. You may provide something that is specific to what it is that they are wanting to fund. And so you can find them, but you have to search for them. But they are there, and that's the good part. You can also find information on federal contracting. Those of y'all that are getting into, businesses, or you're starting businesses that need to go more in that direction. The federal contracting information is there. And then it breaks it down to local assistance. And then you can find out, the list of things that are, or organizations that are in relationship to SBA that are within your own community. The next one that I want to share with you is the SBDC, and that is the Small Business Development Center. SBDC, some people know about it, but there are still a lot that have no idea what I'm talking about. I will give you an example. I attend a couple of continued learning courses on our local college here in Florida, and we have an SBDC center on our campus. And a lot of students don't even know what that is. I'll ask them, being in business and taking courses, that are for business, and you have all these new business students who haven't even started a business. And here I am sitting there, asking, well, have you visited the SBDC? And I get silence. And then they'll come back and say, what is that? Well, that's the Small Business Development Center. Well, where is it? It's right downstairs in the building right next door. They have no idea that it's there. And the SBDC provides so much help and assistance and knowledge in the different areas that you may be trying to understand, whether it's finances or marketing, just different, even the SWOT analysis. They help you with knowing how to construct your business plan. There's so many resources within that one center, and they are nationwide. So if you go to americassbdc.org, and again, I'll put this link in the description, you can search for your center that is within your area, the closest one that is to you. You can also find an advisor. They also have blog posts that may be talking about the different or the specific topics that are going on right now that are most popular, with business, entrepreneurship, small businesses, large businesses, nonprofits, no matter what it is. They do have resources listed on their website, specifically how to grow with Google, which is a big thing right now. People do not know how to utilize Google for their business. How do customers find us? They go to Google. I don't know about you, but when I'm looking for a restaurant, I will put sit-down restaurants, Italian in my area. And Google will tell me every single Italian restaurant that is in my area. So growing with Google, it shows you how to be ranked, how to add your information, how to analyze your business. It has Google Analytics, Google Trends, being able to look up, what are the trends, what's trending right now on Google, and how to utilize specific keywords to get your business in that lineup. And so there is a lot to learn, but going back to that, as far as resources, growing with Google, that is something that I know is offered even in just the marketing workshops that they offer. Depending on your local office or center, they will have a list of different workshops that they provide. The one in our area specifically provides boot camps in marketing. We have a profit mastery class, which helps you with your finances, your financials for your business, how to lay out your balance sheet and utilize it, your statements, income statements, everything to help you with growing your business and understanding the financials. Those financials are so important, especially if you are taking them to a bank to request a loan. They want to see your numbers in order. They want to see that you have accounted for everything and that you have been very specific in what you are accounting for. So these workshops are so wonderful and just very much needed. And the majority of the time, they're at no cost or very little cost. So you should be taking advantage of this. And it does not matter what place in your business you are. I have been in these workshops with people who are completely set up and they need a refresher course on how the financials are supposed to be laid out, or maybe they need to get more customers to see their business, and so they just hop on into the marketing workshop. So it doesn't matter where you are in your business. It is very useful. The SBDC website will also tell you about different events, national events and your local events. And so that really helps to keep up with what is, going on in your area. And then it'll talk about the news, the different things that maybe you haven't seen, popping up in the news regarding entrepreneurship and business, and all of those really great things. Okay, so this next one, I have never seen this website, and when I was looking up SBDC just so I could make sure I was giving you the correct web address, this particular one popped up, and I want to read to you exactly what it says on the top bar. But this is sbdcnet.org, and it says the SBDC National Information Clearinghouse, serving the Small Business Development Center Network and America's small business community. Now, what I found very interesting is the tabs at the top. They had one that was titled the Small Business Resources. These are always my favorite tabs because I want to see what is being offered as a resource. Is it at no charge? Is it at a small cost? Or is it a program that you can invest in? And so one of them that caught my eye is the market research links. So when I clicked on it, it took me to a page, and the page listed all of the different industries. I'm going to go ahead and just go through a couple of these. It obviously, which is probably a new added tab, the COVID-19 industry resources are at the very top. But then as you start to scroll through, you see the creative industry, recreation and leisure industry, travel and tourism, transportation, you have sports and fitness, automotive, restaurant and food service, the beverage industry, which we all know is like one all on its own. And then you have the food industry, childcare, social media and internet marketing, and demographics. And there are about at least 3 pages to go through on this particular resource. If you are trying to really dive into the market research, and this goes along with your marketing, knowing how to do a market analysis. This actually ties into marketing and financials. Knowing how to do a market analysis and find out what other businesses in your industry are doing and where they are being placed on the chart. Are they producing above the average? Do they fall short? Are they right on target? And then you can also see where you line up in that. Are there more companies in your industry that are doing so much more better than you? Or are y'all kind of all on the same line? Are you doing better than them? It's just really diving in and seeing where you're placed on that chart to see what you need to do. Do you need to step it up? Or are you overproducing, which isn't a bad thing, but still it helps to find yourself and where you are in your own industry. So I love how this breaks it down for you, depending on where you are, what you're doing, what you're offering, what you provide to your customers, and then seeing what everybody else is doing that's in the same focus and area as you. Now, this particular website, sbdcnet.org, also has a tab where you can find your local SBDC office. So if you go to this one or you go to the America's SBDC website, you'll be able to search to find your local office or center so that you can visit it in person and see what they offer for you. Now, I want to give you a quick example of one other area of this website. Under the small business resource, there's also a tab that says small business snapshots. They may not list all of them. I haven't been able to go through each one, but the small business snapshots, I just clicked on one just to give you an idea. I clicked on the one that said pet care services business. Now we know this one was one that was really booming, especially with people or entrepreneurs, small business owners who hopped on and took advantage of rover.com. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but Rover is where you could find pet sitting services. You could find those that just were dog walkers. Maybe they came to your house and cared for your pet. Maybe they took your pet into their home, whatever it was, you could find anything and everything. And so when I look at this particular breakdown, it says pet care services businesses. It states that it's kind of declined a little bit because more people were at home and they were able to care for their own pets. Maybe there wasn't a whole lot of traveling going on, during the past 2 years. And so it kind of died out a little bit. I believe it'll come back, as people start traveling again. Everybody always needs someone to take care of their pet, and they want someone that they can trust. And so, but when you go through this whole breakdown, it talks about pet care services, regarding COVID-19 resources. But then it really dives into the industry overview and the trends. It goes on to talk about the pet care customer demographics, which is very important. If you're living in an area where there aren't very many people who are asking for pet care services or searching that online, then trying to start up a pet care business may not be very wise. But if you're in an area where there is somebody constantly asking for help, I mean, just so many people, so many neighbors, even in a whole neighborhood, area, then of course you're going to have a wonderful time taking on new clients and being able to take care of these sweet animals, right? But they also have the pet services business startup cost. Kind of breaks it down, to how much you would need to actually start certain parts or areas of this business or the business as a whole. Pet service business plans. There are resources to help you kind of draft and write that out. Business associations specific to pet care. Pet-related business regulations, which we know is very important. And then there are some business publications. And then it goes into some of your basic, employment trends, things like that. This breakdown is so beneficial, especially if you're thinking about doing something and you want to know exactly what it's going to entail. I love this resource right here. I'm going to use it from this point out just to help other people. Make sure I'm glad I ran across it, and you guys are the first ones to hear about it if you haven't known about this yet, because like I said, I just happened to stumble upon it. But it's just really great to see that it's broken down. Somebody has taken the time to provide all of these links and resources so that you can do your own research and your own study and make up your mind if it's something that you really want to get into. A lot of times we want to start a business and we don't realize how much time it's going to take and how much money it's going to cost. And so it's helpful in the planning stages. All right. And then I'm going to be a little biased on this one. This is my absolute favorite resource. This is a score.org. I love this organization. It has been such a huge help and a blessing to me in restructuring our business and adding on some new things. And so love it so much that I made the decision to join as a volunteer and give of my time just as they did with me. And so that I'm going to be very biased on this. And I love all the other resources. They all come together, but and they all do their own individual thing. It's great. All these different organizations that provide kind of the same thing. They're on the same line, but they have their special niche and their special focus. SCORE is by far my favorite. Now, SCORE stands for Service Corps of Retired Executives. This particular one, I am very surprised that not every business owner knows about this. And when I say business owner, I'm referring to entrepreneurs too, those that may have not started yet, but they have their idea, they're building their plan. Because like I said, it doesn't matter what level you're at in your business, but this organization has taken a group of wonderful people who have been in business for years. A lot of them are retired, and they have just worked and worked and worked, and it is time for them to retire and rest, and yet they still have a heart to give back to other business owners. And so they volunteer their time to mentor them. And so that is probably the top, most absolute, wonderful, I don't know why people don't take advantage of this opportunity to have a mentor at no charge. You don't have to pay anything except for your commitment and showing up and being serious about what it is that you're doing to allow these mentors to speak into your business, give you suggestions, give you ideas, tell you what they have seen that has worked, tell you what has not worked, talk about how things changed over time, and to be able to tap into the knowledge and the wisdom of every one of these wonderful men and women who are giving of their time is it's like gold. And so when I mention SCORE to a lot of people, they have absolutely no idea who SCORE is. The other great thing, right after SCORE mentorship, is the amount of workshops that are available to business owners online. They do have some in-person workshops, that are local to your area, but they have a whole lot more that are virtual. And you just have to sign up and show up. I also noticed there's a lot of people who sign up and they don't show up. And these workshops are filled with so much information. You can take what you need. You may not need everything that is said in that workshop, but pretty much every time that I have sat through a workshop just to see what's being presented or to learn myself, even if I walk away with one point, one different thing that I had never thought about because it was based off of somebody else's experience, and now I can say, wow, I didn't think about that, but I'm going to try it, then it was worth the, hour and a half that I sat in that workshop for that day. And so when we take time to invest in ourselves and in our business, you will walk away with so much value. But the problem is that we don't, we sign up, we get excited about these things, and we don't show up. There is workshop upon workshop upon workshop on this website. So when you go to score.org, you have the option to, at the top, 3 simple tabs: find a mentor, take a workshop, and browse the library. Click on find a mentor and search. You can search through the database. You can look up and request specific mentors that maybe are familiar with the industry that you're in, or you can just request any mentor. Maybe you need somebody to help you with your financials. You can be very specific to that. Maybe you need someone who has been in the fashion industry, or someone who has been in the restaurant business or contracting. You want to be able to find someone that knows what it is that you are needing help on, not just any random person, but there are so many mentors with so much background and experience that you will find someone. You may even find 2. So the next tab was take a workshop. Click on it. You can narrow it to your area, or you can just take workshops nationwide. You may be sitting in a workshop, someone who is presenting in California or New York or Wisconsin. So across the entire nation, there are so many volunteers that are giving of their time just to help you grow. So why wouldn't you take advantage of this resource, right? And then browse the library is just basically browsing, everything that's available out there for you, and being able to narrow your search so that you can find exactly what it is that you need. So we're going to go ahead and start to wrap this up because this is turning into a very long episode, but I hope that all of this information has been very helpful to you. But as far as networking, as you're going into the new year, this is one of my favorite topics: customer service and then networking. Those are my 2 favorites. But looking for different opportunities to get back out there, especially since things are opening back up, find opportunities to go face to face with people and meet them. Shake their hands, exchange your information, ask them, what is it that I can do to help you? And then find out that there are things and ideas and experiences that they have that will help you grow in your business. It is relationship building. You never know when that relationship is going to come back around with some great opportunity. So when you enter it not expecting anything except the opportunity to build a relationship, as I say all the time, the more you give, the more you have. You are building something that is going to last even beyond what you expected. So networking resources, there's a website called meetup.com, eventbrite.com. They're alignable. I am not all too savvy on alignable, but I do hear a lot of people use it to connect with other businesses. Obviously, you have your Facebook events, LinkedIn events, your local chambers. Those will cost you, but in the long run, you just need to determine whether it's going to benefit your business or not. Sometimes it helps some businesses, and sometimes other people are like, it just wasn't for me. Look into it, visit, find out what is available to you. And then we went over all of the other ones, which was the SBA, the SBDC, and SCORE. Different places to connect on social media. You have LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook groups, be very careful with those. You have to follow the group rules. If you don't follow the rules and you start spamming everybody every day in those groups, they will kick you out. So make it an experience where you are paying close attention to what they are asking of you, but at the same time, you're still able to get your business information out there. And then the last part is the free resources to help you actually connect with people. That is going to be Zoom, Calendly, which I love Calendly. You just send your link over to somebody or post it on your social media, and they just schedule meetings with you, one-on-ones with you. So that is a wonderful resource, and it is free. Podcasting. So many different podcasting platforms out there. The one that I use for this particular podcast is Podbean. It is a small fee per month, just like all of them are, but so worth it if you're going to use it. Podcasting has become one of the easiest ways to get your business, your information, your skill, your knowledge of what it is that you do out there to help other people. It is a wonderful resource because you're literally just giving. You're giving of your time. You're giving of what you have learned. You're sharing your stories. I love coming on here and talking to everybody and just sharing what I have been through and where I've gone, because you never know who it's going to help. You never know who needed to hear the information and the stories and just the wonderful encouragement. And so if you haven't considered it, think about it. Podcasting is a wonderful way to reach people, especially worldwide. I have listeners that are a pop-up from all over the world, and it is just so encouraging. Obviously, you have Skype. That is the old school, way of people getting together. And WordPress. If you're into blogging, you have to be into blogging. It has to be consistent, but it is also another really great source of connecting you with other people, other businesses. But you have to be committed to it. You can't just, blog 1 month and then skip 5 months and then come back. It needs to be a consistent, I'm going to have information to share all the time. I know because I did it and I stepped away from it and it just got way back on the back burner and way back. And I would come back and be like, man, I forgot to blog, or I haven't blogged in months. It just gets away from you if it's not something that you're passionate about, with writing. So, but it is still a great way to reach other people. So WordPress is another free site. And I believe that is all of my resources for today. I will continue to share with y'all as the days go by. There's so many unlimited things out there. And as I'm learning, I will make sure to bring it directly to you. So thank you again for listening. I will place a lot of these links in the description. So look for that information if you need it. And I will talk to you next week. God bless.